Hi, and welcome to the video summary of success session number 1 for grade 13 students. Those of you in your final year with the middle college, there will be 3 success sessions this year, each one providing information, primarily what you need to know to wrap up your middle college experience, and then also moving forward to your next steps, whatever those might be, as you will see. So this is titled Next Steps, Finishing Strong at SC4 and Applying to College. And it was offered a couple of times this fall already. Some of you did not make it to either of those sessions. There were 3 options, but so you must go through the video, watch the video, and get the information, and there will be some assignments related to this that you need to submit as well. Just a little photograph. This is obviously a school, as Michigan State. It's bigger than SC4, but next year at this time, some of you viewing this right now will be at a bigger college or university. Others will be still here at SC4, maybe wrapping up your first degree or working on a second one or certification. Some of you will be employed and hopefully have a good solid job based on what you've done at SC4. And it also could be some combination of all of the above. But anyway, we do have a lot of students out there right now experiencing their first year at a larger university, and that's kind of fun. The goals of this session is just to talk briefly about updating your educational development plan one final time. You've done that starting in 9th grade, and now actually they start students even in 7th grade with an EDP, and it gradually builds. So this is something that I'm going to talk to you briefly about during this presentation, but then there's going to be a separate video sent to all students on how to update their EDP for what could be the final time. Doesn't have to be, but it could be. We want you to know what you need to do to achieve your SC4 and middle college goals. For example, your high school diploma, your college degree, maximizing transferable credits, any certificates that you might be able to earn here that you can use to get a job later on. So that's what we're going to try to talk to you a little bit about today, and then provide information for taking your next academic steps, whether that is looking for a job or applying to a 4-year university to move on in your education. And hopefully after viewing this, you'll be inspired to say, hey, I can do this, and you will start your college application. As I record this, it's October 4th, so it's still very early in October. October is unofficially college application month. It's the time that it's an ideal time for students to apply to colleges or universities. It doesn't mean you have to get the applications in October, although there are a few schools that have deadlines of October 31st for certain things. But most colleges will allow you to apply later into the fall and even next winter. But the sooner you do it, the better. And we also going to have I'll have some tips, I guess, on submitting a quality application, one that won't get sent back or cause confusion and so on. As a middle college student, there are some things you do maybe a little bit different than you might think in your situation. So stay tuned for that on exactly how to apply and what to do as a middle college student, which really is a very good thing. But you want to make sure that they know that and get all the information that they need. So just briefly on your EDP, the Educational Development Plan stands for, of course, the word plan. And it really is important, though, to have a thoughtful plan in place if you want to achieve your goals. If you're not planning and just kind of going along, I'm going to take this class because it fits in my schedule, or my friends in this class, or the teacher's good, or the course is supposed to be easy, that's fine to get through the courses, but you're probably not going to end up achieving all the goals that you want. Now, one of the key things is to achieve goals is to have goals, have good, clear goals. I know that some of our students, when they get to the final year, have really clarified what they want to do, where they want to go, what job they want to get in the future, and so on. I also know that many of you are kind of getting to this point saying, yikes, I don't really know exactly what I want to do, or maybe I thought I wanted to do one thing and now I'm not so sure. So you want to keep working on clarifying your goals, and that's part of what the EDP helps you to do, or should help you to do, if you pause and think about, all right, what do I really want to do here, rather than just writing something on the line. That's really how you should approach your EDP. Now that you're near the end of high school, actually after 12th grade into grade 13, updating your plan should be relatively quick and easy because hopefully you've thought about these things already. It's okay if you haven't. It's okay if it causes you to take some time now to update it one more time, I guess, one last time maybe. So nothing wrong if it does take you time, but for many of you, it will go pretty quickly. So that's going to be shared at a separate in a separate video. So I'm not actually going to go through these slides right now. I'm going to blow past them. Okay, news and announcements. Early alert grades are coming available October 1st. Actually, as I record this, they're actually out. You should be able to log into your service center and see what they call midterm grades. Those are also known as early alert grades. They're posted by the instructors after 6 weeks of classes out of a 16-week semester, so you still have 9 or 10 weeks to go to improve those grades. You may see a letter grade, A, B, C, D, or E, or you may see S or U. Those are also letters, of course, but S is satisfactory, meaning you're showing up, you're doing okay. No guarantees on what your actual grade will be. There might not be enough assignments by that time. U, an unsatisfactory, should be an alert to you that either you have not been attending regularly or the work that you're submitting, even though it's not enough to get an official grade, would probably be below a C. Okay, so if you're seeing a D or an E or a U, it's time to get help. And the first thing you can do is contact one of us. Or, as you may be aware, when students get C minus or less in any grade, we will reach out to you. Mrs. Barr or Miss Weimer will email you, email parent, and call one or both of those, you or your parent, to make sure you know where to get help if needed. Okay, because we don't want to see anyone fail, of course. Winter registration is coming up, actually. It opens later this month on October 29th. That's a Monday at midnight. The winter courses with specific sections, days, times, instructors, and so on should be available about 2 weeks before that. So we're thinking around October 15th, SC4 might post those. And you should be able to go into your service center and look at when sections are available for the winter semester. And when you find sections that you like, you can add them to your plan, the specific section. So between October 15th and October 29th, you can actually have your schedule all set, ready to go. So on the 29th, you simply have to click register, the register button for each class, and that should get you a seat in that course or that section, and then your schedule should be all set, and you can kind of relax until January on that. Okay, the next success session for students in their final year is a paying for college session. We've done this every year that we've had graduating students. Mrs. Josephine Cassar will speak to students and parents, your parents or guardians, grandparents, anyone who's interested in your future and helping you be able to pay for college after the middle college. They are invited to attend this session. There's going to be a morning session on November 9th. That's a Friday. There's also going to be an afternoon session. And I'll be sending more information out about that as it gets closer. But put that date on your calendar. This is important, you guys. So if you're working and normally work on a Friday, schedule the morning off. Tell your boss that you have to be at the college. And again, if you work in the afternoon, come in the morning, 10 to 11:30. If you happen to work in the morning, Tim Hortons or something, then come in the afternoon, 1 to 2:30. But make plans to hear about the different options and opportunities to pay for school after the middle college. There have been a couple of visits by middle college students to universities. A bus load went down to Wayne State. Another bus went to Saginaw Valley State last month. And there's one left going to the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. And that's heading out Friday, October 19th. So in just about 2 weeks from when I record this. If you're interested, you need to either contact Mrs. Barr or refer back to an email she sent several weeks ago. You can search on Barr, Jennifer Barr. And you should find that, and it links to a Google form where you can indicate you're interested. Now, the University of Michigan, the Ann Arbor campus, is a fantastic university. You may have heard it's not easy to get into. Your grades have to be pretty good. They have to be, I would say, a 3.5 or above high school. Your SAT scores should probably be at about 1200 at a minimum or above. However, if you've always wanted or thought about attending the University of Michigan and your college grades have been strong, in other words, your college GPA 3.0, 3.5, something like that, you have a good chance of getting into the University of Michigan, a fair chance anyway. But you may have to apply as a transfer student instead of a regular freshman, as they want you to apply as you would apply right now. You may have to wait a little bit after graduating from the middle college and then transfer into U of M. So it is an option. So if you want to learn more about it, anybody is welcome. Just let Mrs. Barr know, and there's a sheet that you have to have your mom or dad sign approving that you get on the bus and go there. Okay? All right. Enough of that. Okay, so high school graduation. Know what you need. Okay, check your audit, pass your classes, and so on. Most of you, if you marched in commencement at one of our partner high schools last year, had completed all your basic academic core requirements for the state of Michigan, such as Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, Biology, things like that. So that's probably done if you marched in commencement. Some of you still needed a world history, maybe a fourth English course or whatever. You want to make sure that if you're not taking that this semester at SC4, that you schedule for that class next semester at SC4. Okay, and make sure if you're taking classes that you need for high school, you pass them. Okay, and there is a requirement for all students in their 13th and final year. You must take a math or math-related class. You can do that two ways. Many of our students are taking a math class at SC4 or something like accounting or physics where there's a lot of math involved, and that can fulfill that requirement. If you are in a program where you're not taking any more math, you've already completed your math or math-related classes, then we can sign you up for a course called Financial Math. It's done online. It's not a very difficult or time-consuming course. But it does take some time, and it does take you focusing on it for 2, 3, or 4 weeks. But let us know. That's a way of fulfilling that final math requirement, but everybody must do that. Okay. This is definitely a big year, your final year, of course, but if you think about it, you're actually doubling the number of college credits you earned during your first 2 years. Okay, so most of you are taking 4 or 5 classes each semester. 14, 15, 16 credits. Some are even taking 17 credit hours each semester. So there's a couple of goals you want to focus on this year before leaving the middle college in May. One is earn your high school diploma, so we can award that in May. And then the other thing is keep pursuing that college associate degree. I know that's why I think a lot of people came to the middle college a couple of years ago as juniors. You decided in 10th grade was to earn an associate degree for free. Okay, it's a great thing, but you want to complete that degree. Now, you're also, so you get those things done, hopefully, and then you're also beginning the transfer to your next academic or career steps. So whether you want to get a job right after the middle college or you want to transfer on to Michigan State or Wayne State or somewhere else, that needs to begin now, okay? So there is a lot going on. You don't have any pure high school classes or activities to worry about, but it's definitely time to lean in, if you will, and not lay back. And what we mean is, sometimes when something's hitting you, it's a wind or water or something, you kind of have to lean in to get through it, and that's what you need to do to get through this year, okay? I want to share a little information to give you some motivation to keep leaning in. When we hold our middle college graduation, which is usually late May, at that time, less than 50% of the students have actually earned their SC4 degree. So we wish that number was higher. We know everybody's not going to because things happen, and as I'll talk about, people change their program of study and different things, get sick or whatever, and they don't complete all the classes. But we sure wish that number would go above 50 and even get to 60% students earning their degree on time. That would be fantastic. Now, the numbers get a little better. If you look 2 years after graduation from the middle college, about 2/3 of our graduates have an associate degree, which is really pretty good. The county average is about 33 or 34% with any kind of degree. So we're twice that, and you're still young, but we want to get more students graduating on time. And again, over 50%, if you flip those numbers, do not receive the degree at the end of grade 13. And again, flipping that second number, that means about 1/3 don't have a degree 2 years after leaving the middle college. And we just think that's too many. So why don't they earn their degree? Well, some change their program, and that's okay. If you thought you were going to be a teacher and now decided you want to be in criminal justice instead, that's okay. You make those decisions, and sometimes it means you have to continue your education after the middle college. That's okay. Some students focus only on earning credits that will transfer to a specific program at a specific university, and I use the example of a student maybe going into engineering at Michigan Tech or Lawrence Tech, and they need a lot of math classes. So maybe they keep taking math classes at SC4, which doesn't leave them time to take courses like CIS 115, for example, which they might need to get their associate degree. But they make that decision. I'm not going to earn the associate here. I'm going to put my efforts into getting transferable classes to a four-year university where they plan on earning a bachelor's degree. Okay? Most people can do both, get the associate degree and a bachelor's, but in some cases, you can focus more on earning transferable credits. But most students don't earn their degree on time due to withdrawing from or failing 2 or more classes. Usually a student can withdraw from one class or fail one class and still be able to finish on time if they pass everything else and they plan well. But once you do that more than once, 2 times, then you don't have the possibility of finishing on time, which is too bad. So what we want, I'm going to skip over this information, is we want you, especially if you have withdrawn or failed one class, and if you haven't withdrawn or failed from any, we want you to keep that going, all right? Withdrawing from a class is costly, and a lot of times I think students think, well, I am not paying for this, no big deal. But keep in mind, it will likely lead to a delay in earning your degree. Okay, most of the students, like 80%, which is on that previous slide, who actually earned their degree on time did not withdraw or fail from any classes. So it's likely going to lead to a delay in earning your degree. It's likely you're going to have to make that class up later, probably at a university, and probably it's going to cost you, between $1,000 and $2,000. Even a 3-credit class at SC4 costs about $500 now. It will result in a W on your college transcript, and too many of those does not look good to an employer in the future, and it can even impact whether or not you qualify for financial aid. If a college looks at you and sees that you've withdrawn from too many classes, then you'll not qualify for financial aid to pay for your future schooling. And I think most importantly, it costs you the opportunity to learn how to face a difficult challenge, a class that you need to adapt to the instructor, whatever it is, and overcome it. And this is important. There's no dollar value on this, but if courses are hard for you right now, come in and get help and get over the hump and complete it. You'll be glad you did, okay? So when it comes to withdrawing, it's important to keep in mind that this year is brand new. Your SC4 fall schedule is now frozen. You are not able to make changes to it. You cannot just go in and drop a class. So if you've been thinking, maybe you dropped a class in the past that, if this gets too tough, I'm just going to drop it. You can't do that. You will not be able to drop a course without help, literally help from a middle college staff member. Too many times we'd find out they dropped a class and they never talked to any of us. They never tried to get help, and that's not going to happen. So if you start thinking about withdrawing from a class, contact one of us, okay? We're not going to yell at you. We're not going to shout. We're just going to see what the issue is and see about getting you help so you can pass it, okay? A lot of times students think they're doing worse than they are, or they think that, if I can't get a C, it's not worth continuing, when actually a D or D minus, all the credits still count, and it counts as a prerequisite and so on. So please contact us right away. A withdrawal permission form must be completed and approved before we will assist you withdrawing from a course. Just 6 weeks into the semester, by the way, it is too early to withdraw from any course. But see us now if you're thinking this course is really tough, I failed my first exam, whatever, and let us help you, okay? There are many steps to take that are part of that withdrawal permission form before we would approve a withdrawal. And in some cases, it is the right thing to do, but not nearly as many times as people want to drop courses. It's usually not the right thing to do. Okay? So now shifting gears a little bit, more on achieving current goals, and talking now about the SC4 degree as we have been. You want to meet with one of the college advisors soon, before winter registration, to be sure you're on track for the associate degree that you want. Make sure you know exactly what you still need, and then discuss options. Because they might say, well, you can do this, but if you do this instead, maybe you can get a second degree. Just by one extra class that you wouldn't have known about, now you can walk across the stage and earn 2 degrees. We had some of our middle college students actually earning 3 degrees last spring, and they didn't have to do anything extra. They just had to choose classes a little more wisely. So you also want to meet with an SC4 advisor to discuss the transferability of credits to future schools and programs of study. They are experts at that. They're in touch with the universities. So definitely, you can talk about everything. You can set up a meeting for an hour, and they'll talk to you about your path here and then what you want to do in the future. We, the middle college staff, can help with those topics. And some of you come to us all the time, and that's great. But we want you to know that you've got to check with the college advisors. We don't issue degrees, okay? So you want to see a college advisor, and I recommend setting up an appointment between now and the end of October or early November. You can always make changes to your winter schedule as late as December, but let's try to get the courses you need as soon as possible. Okay, so something to keep in mind about completing your degree at SC4, and all of our students are well on their way to completing a degree. Even if you didn't have a great, really successful year last year, if you get your 14, 15 credits this semester, you're probably going to have 30 to 40 credits. Some of you will have 45 or almost 50. But so I want to give you an idea to keep you focused, keep you moving forward, get the most out of this year. If you can complete your degree on time next May, that's awesome. You walk across the stage at SC4, you have your associate degree, and whether you go to work or onto a college, it's done. Good for you. And that's awesome, okay? Keep in mind, though, you might be 1, maybe 2 classes short at the end of May. You can take then 1 or 2 summer classes this coming summer. It would actually be summer 2019, so that's a typo there. And that will complete your degree. And if you do that, you can walk in SC4's graduation early in May of this coming spring. Okay, so you can apply for graduation. You go through the ceremony, cap and gown, all of that. You just have to complete those summer classes before they actually mail you the diploma and issue the degree. But a lot of students going through the ceremony still have 1 or 2 classes to complete in the summer. So keep that in mind. And then another thing to consider is you can actually transfer courses that you might need for credits from a new college that you attend, say next fall, back to SC4. I just had a call from a student a couple of days ago, and she's going to be graduating with a bachelor's degree from Western Michigan University next summer. Okay, so she graduated a couple years ago. She'll be finishing up her 4-year degree, and she only needs 3 credit hours back here to earn an associate degree. So she was calling to see how she would do that, and basically she just has to submit her or send her Western Michigan transcript to SC4 and then apply for graduation. Basically tell SC4, I'm ready, look at my credits. Once they transfer in the classes from Western, she'll have plenty of credits and she'll get her associate degree. So many ways of completing it. I just want you to keep thinking about completing the degree, okay? Even if right now you think you're going to be 8, 10, 12 credits short. An associate degree has value. Even if you're moving on to a 4-year school, you don't know what's going to happen over the next few years on your way to a bachelor's degree. Sometimes the money runs out and students have to pause. Well, if you have the associate degree, you can get a better job in between as you save money to complete your bachelor's degree. Okay, so get that associate degree done. Looks good on a resume. All right. So what about students who are thinking right now, you know what, I'm gonna finish up with the middle college. Maybe I'll have my associate degree, maybe not, but I'm not going to go to a university or another college next year. I'm going to take a little time off, or I want to just start working, get my life underway that way. So SC4 has some resources for you. This one is sc4.edu/career coach. And I'm going to go out to this site. I think this link will take me there. And just show you a little bit about what they have. So this is the site. It's tied in with St. Clair County Community College. They do not develop the site, so other schools can use this in other areas. But it is actually localized when it comes to what jobs are available in a particular field. Okay. Couple of things real quick. If you're not sure what you want to do, remember how we talked about the EDP, and some students know and others are a little unsure. You can take one of the assessments. There's 2 they offer. One is just 6 questions. Do you like doing this and this? Others a little more detailed, and you would answer many more, like how do you like doing this? Do you agree, disagree, and so on. You've done some of this type of assessment in Career Cruising, I think. But if not, give them a try, and you can do both, and it'll end up giving you some possible career ideas. Okay, and you can click and learn more about them. Let's say you have an idea already. Okay, so I clicked on careers up here. And then it gives me some general areas. You know, do I want to be involved in the agriculture, food, natural resources industry or businesses? Do I want to get into transportation, distribution, logistics? When you see trucks and, Amazon, how does it get all these, materials across the country so quickly? That's this field. Arts, audio, and so on. But let's say you're interested in business. So you click on this, and now you can get to some other more specific jobs. And let's say, what I always thought advertising and marketing might be kind of cool. You can click on that. So basically, you're just kind of browsing, digging in here. So here are just some specific jobs in advertising and marketing. It will talk about the different levels of education needed. If you don't see an associate degree listed in this part right here, then it's probably not the kind of job that you're going to get, with just the associate degree. Okay, so here's this thing called technical writers, where they get people to write equipment manuals, appendices for instructional manuals, operating instructions, and so on. But here you'll see about 1/3 of the people do enter that field with an associate degree. Okay. So let's just say, hey, I like to write, and I'm kind of good at figuring out how things work. And I clicked on it, and you find out a little bit more about it. Okay, the median salary, in other words, half the people make more than that, half the people make less, but that's the middle range. It looks at regionally in Southeast Michigan, about 67 jobs open up annually. Now, one thing to show you. Again, this is a relatively regional site, which is kind of cool. If we go to live job postings, okay, we'll see if there are any jobs right now in the St. Clair County, Southeast Michigan area. So let me see. Maybe nothing. It's not coming up. Come on, you. Let's try it. Now it's loading. Okay. So here's a technical writer for this company in Sterling Heights, Michigan. It's about an hour and 20 minutes away from Port Huron. We could click on that. A technical writer in Warren, a couple in Warren. And some of them do say that, like this one says a 4-year technical degree or equivalent. So you kind of have to look and see, well, do I have enough skills and knowledge to get this position? But if you click on it, it's an actual job posting, and you'll see how you can apply. So if I click on this, it just takes me to the site Indeed.com, and I can actually submit, follow their procedures. Okay, so that's one site. The SC4 Career Coach can give you ideas, and it also can link you to live job postings. Okay, the other thing to take advantage of is SC4's Career and Employment Services Center, that department, if you will. It's based out, I believe, of the Advising Center, although I'm not positive if that's room 175. Actually, it wouldn't be. 175 would be on the first floor. So in this case, though, SC4 has a job website, so you can click on that. And if you go in there, they'll have job postings. So it's just something where I think knowing that that's there, and it's there even after you leave SC4. You could be gone 10 years. Because you attended here, you can access their job posting and placement service. Okay, so keep that in mind. To go further into this, I'd have to actually give a student number or social security number, but I don't have that, so I'm not going to show you. But this is what you would do. You would click into this, and then off you go. Okay? So keep in mind there is support here. We talk a lot about applying for universities and so on, but there is support at SC4 for jobs and job searching. Okay? All right, so now let's see why my mouse right now looks kind of different here. I'm not sure why that is. So let me do this and go back here. Okay. So we'll open this back up and go on to the next screen. Then the next part now, the last part of this session is going to be focusing on applying to colleges and that process. Okay, let's try this again here. Come on, you. Okay, this takes a little. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to start looking at the steps in the college application process to make sure that you are applying correctly and with the best chance of getting admitted to the schools you want to possibly go to next year. So it is like a maze. There's a lot involved. Some of you are the oldest child in your family or the only child, the first ones to start tackling the college application process. In some cases, mom or dad or guardian or other family members have gone to college and are kind of familiar with the process, although it still would have been probably a few years ago. And many of our middle college students are from families where maybe a parent went to SC4, but a lot of them have not been to a university. So there's a lot to learn about, and we're always here to help. We're not just going to send you off into this maze on your own. Okay, so here's some information that hopefully will help, and then just know that you can always come back and contact one of us as soon as you get a question or your mom or dad has a question. Okay. So the first step in the college application process, of course, is to identify colleges or universities that you might want to attend. You need to think about, do they help you achieve your goals? What is your goal to go on to another college? I assume it's to get at least a bachelor's degree. That's a 4-year degree. Or maybe beyond. Maybe you know you need to end up with a master's degree, which is graduate school, or even a doctoral degree, or you want to become a medical doctor, something like that. But your next stop is going to be probably for a bachelor's degree. So does that school provide the program you want? Do they meet your other criteria? In other words, is the location correct? Do you want to stay close to Port Huron area, St. Clair County, or do you want to move far away? Do you like the idea of living up north in the Upper Peninsula? There's some big universities up there, but they're a long way from home. What about the size of the school? Do you want very small, where there's just a few thousand students, or do you want something that's big and active like Michigan State or Central Michigan or something like that? There's a lot of factors that come into play. Another one is, will your credits transfer? Now, in most cases, most schools, your credits are going to transfer the same, and they're going to transfer very well. If your grades are good and you've planned well and you complete the Michigan transfer agreement and so on. But there are some schools that will take more than others. And so you might want to apply to 2, 3, or 4 schools and then have them evaluate your transcript, because every 2 or 3 or 4, every 3 or 4 classes anyway that will transfer, that's a semester at that school, and that can save you literally $10,000 or more. So you can find that out later, but you can also do some digging ahead of time. And then the other thing to consider is, do you meet their criteria? Are your test scores, is your grade point likely to get you into that school? If you're putting all your eggs into a basket of a very competitive school, such as the University of Michigan Ann Arbor, or Kalamazoo College, or a school out east, one of the Ivy League schools, and if your grades really don't support you getting in, then you may you can apply, but you may find out later that you don't get in. So in this case, keep in mind, be realistic. You can stretch yourself in your applications. You've done a neat thing by being a middle college student, and if you've done well in your college classes, that could get you in even if your high school grades aren't strong. Okay? So as part of identifying schools that you might want to attend, Career Cruising was a great way of doing that. Now, you guys are in grade 13, so I don't know how much access you have to Career Cruising anymore. We do not have the usernames and logins, but if you can still log in from your old high school account, you can explore that. Even the Parchment site, which I'm going to show you in a little bit, at least I can't log in fully as a student, but I can show you a little bit, has some college search tools. But I'm going to show you a site called Petersons.com, which is similar to other sites you might find out there, and it actually can be pretty helpful to help you identify schools that provide programs in what you might want to pursue. Okay? So let's do that now. I'm going to escape out of here, and we're going to go to Petersons.com. Come on. There we go. All right. Petersons.com. Off we go. Now, Petersons is a commercial site. It's not a state or, run site. You're going to see some ads, and it's going to be primarily from colleges and schools. But the information is good on the site. So first of all, you get to their main page, and I want to just point out, not only can you search schools, but you can search scholarships and test preparation and things like that. So the site itself is actually pretty helpful. In this case, I'm going to use the search bar at the top. I'm going to search schools and programs. I want four-year programs, and that basically is undergraduate. Okay, so your status is an undergraduate student. And I'm going to pick something like accounting. Okay, once this does that, come on, you. Goodness, well, let's just leave that. We can focus on the four-year schools in a bit. So I'm going to type in accounting because that's what I'm interested in, let's say. Okay. And I click search. Now it's going to search nationwide, so we're going to get a pretty good size number of schools. Now there's 827 two-year schools. If you look over to the left, that's what's clicked, that offer accounting programs nationwide. So what I want, though, is I want to go to a higher level. I want a four-year. When I have both, there's 2,100. Note up here, and I'm going to turn off the two-year schools. Okay, so now we're down to 1,300 accounting undergraduate schools and programs. When you first start looking at the list, you'll see some schools you might not recognize because they're in other states, but there's also this little key up here that says featured. To be featured, they probably paid for that. Doesn't mean it's a bad school. You will see some state of Michigan schools that are good schools that also pay a little to get at the top of the search list. I'm going to try to bring this number down from 1,300 to more reasonable, and I want to assume that I want to stay in Michigan. Okay, so I'm choosing Michigan here, and it should get to a much more reasonable number. So now we're down to 36 four-year schools that provide accounting programs. And again, here's Hillsdale College, very good school. It's a private school, but it is one of the featured ones, and that's okay. So we're going to scroll down. Wayne State, also featured. And then now we get to some that aren't featured. Doesn't mean they're any worse or whatever. So you might find one that you've heard about. Let's say Ferris State. Okay, so we click on that, and you get a nice little snapshot window of Ferris State University, where it's located in Big Rapids, Michigan. If you're wondering where that is, you can click there and find out where. It's a small setting. There's about 12,000 students total, so that'll be about 4,000 at each grade level. The tuition, I know it's hard for you to kind of gauge because you're just getting into this, but it's reasonable. It's not as cheap as a community college, but it's one of the less expensive state universities, and they have a pretty high acceptance rate. About 74%, or almost three-quarters of the students that apply are accepted. Okay, so when you scroll down, you'll find information on the degrees that they offer. And you'll actually find under business and marketing that section that they do have accounting and finance degrees and so on, and you can earn a bachelor's degree in that. You can also check on other things about the school. If I click on admissions, it will again say that 74% of those that apply are admitted. They get about 10,000 students that apply every year. And a lot of this isn't critical, but you can use it to compare other schools. Okay? You can look at what athletics do they have and so on. Okay? And if that sounds good, then make that one of your schools to learn more about. So that's how you use something like Petersons.com. If we go back to the list of schools, I think this will get us back there. Maybe Wayne State is one that you're interested in. That's a little bigger school in the city of Detroit, so quite a different setting, but they've got a neat business school down there that just opened up. Okay? So that can help you find schools if you're one of those people that I'm not really sure and you're starting to feel the pressure of I've got to apply somewhere. That can help you narrow that down. Okay? So that's Petersons.com. Let's go back to, Let's go back to the session. Again, I'm going to click to start from the new site, so it may take a second to get the slide to show up. Okay, so once you identify some schools, or you can identify one or two and then keep looking, but then you want to prepare to apply. Know the deadlines for applying. I noticed on that Ferris State site that it said August 1st. Now that's not this past August, that's next August. So they take applications right through the summer for the fall semester. So you've got plenty of time to apply to Ferris State. Some of the scholarships, though, are assigned in the winter and early spring. So you don't necessarily want to wait until June or July to apply, but if you need to, that's okay. You can still do it. If there are deadlines, put them down on your calendar. Make sure you start the process before the day the application is due, because some of these applications take a few days to get all the information that you need gathered. Okay, learn how to apply. Almost all sites now, you apply online through the college website. You might have heard about the Common App or Common Application. That's one site that you go to and you can send your application. You fill out the information pretty much once and you can send it to different schools. University of Michigan uses that. Wayne State can use that, and some other schools in Michigan. The cost to apply is relatively cheap, and I say relatively. None I don't think are higher than $50. You may find one or two, but if you're applying to 2, 3, or 4 schools, it's worth spending some money, get the applications in, and then you find out which ones accept you, and then you can keep working on making your final decision. Fee waivers are available for, I think, all schools. You have to qualify. If you were a student that qualified for free or reduced lunch in high school, you probably qualify for a fee waiver. Often it'll say right on the site what you need to do. If you need something from the middle college, let us know and we will get that for you. Okay? This is very important. When you apply to all the schools in Michigan, and I assume most nationwide, but you probably want to check with them, you're applying as a freshman, okay, unless you're told otherwise specifically. But otherwise, you apply as a freshman. Even though you've taken multiple college courses, they've all been taken while you were still in high school, technically. So they want you to apply as a freshman, okay? And the Blue Water Middle College Academy is your high school. So even though you walked in commencement at Capac High School last spring, or you attended Port Huron Northern and all that, those schools are not going to be able to provide your final high school transcript, okay, a completed transcript. So make sure the Blue Water Middle College is listed as your high school. If they allow you to put other schools down, then you can add Port Huron or Port Huron Northern. You would list the dates as from September of freshman year to June of sophomore year. And then you list the dates for the middle college from August or September of 11th grade through May of 2019. Okay? All right. When you apply, follow their steps carefully. Keep records of things such as your username, password, pins, because every school is going to want you to set up an account when you apply. And you may have 2 or 3 different schools going. Make sure you write down what username and password you're using for each one. The other thing says save emails. So if you get emails from the school, once you submit that application, or sometimes even before, make sure you save those. Drag them into a separate folder, label it college or something, or print it. Do whatever you need to, because you may need that information later. Okay? When it comes to requesting transcripts, they're going to want two. They're going to want your high school transcript, which is from the Blue Water Middle College Academy, um, and they're going to want to know your high school grade point average, and your middle college transcript was mailed home, a paper copy of it this summer. If you're not sure and you want a copy emailed to you, we can do that if you need to know your high school GPA. In most cases, we have your SAT scores on the transcript. In not all cases do we have that, but we can see about getting that put on your transcript if you need it. Okay? Keep your grade point average strong this semester and next, because the school might say that they want to view your grades at the end of a fall semester or even at the end of winter semester. So don't let up on the gas pedal now. Keep going strong, okay? So at the live session, Mr. Ruiz came in and demonstrated using Parchment.com, the Parchment site, to request your high school transcript. So I'm going to do that right now since I'm just recording the video. Okay, so you will have two different transcripts to request and send to colleges, and one's going to be your high school, which comes from the Blue Water Middle College. And to do that, the quickest easiest way really to do that for you and for us is through a site called Parchment. So I'm going to go to Parchment.com. Mr. Ruiz oversees the accounts for students and Parchment. And he has at least once, I think twice now, if not three times, requested that emails be sent from Parchment with a link to log in to Parchment and set up your account. Okay, so the email might not specifically come from Mr. Ruiz, but his name will be on it, and it should be something related to Parchment. And what you want to do is follow the login button, and you have to input your name, you choose a password, and so on. You set up a Parchment account. Now I'm going to go in. I go in as an administrator, so it's not going to look exactly like yours, but I think some of the things will be similar. I'm going to show you a little bit about that. Give me 1 second here. That usually pops up, and in we go. Yeah, this may not have what I was hoping it had for you. Let me see. Settings, analytics. Okay. It looks like it's not going to have that. When you set yours up, it's more pleasing to the eye, and it actually has up at the top, there'll be some tools for searching for colleges. If you remember, I talked about using Petersons.com, but then also Parchment. You could see some matchups with colleges. So when you set up your account, what it does is it asks you some information. You do need to provide some basic information, your name. They will already have your email. Matter of fact, your username is your SC4 email. Be careful you don't use an old login and go to your Port Huron school's Parchment site. Okay, you may have set one up with Memphis or KPAC last year because everybody did, but you need to use your SC4 email address as your username. So mine would be like pspencer@student.sc4.edu. And then it's going to prompt you to answer some questions. Some of them you have to answer, but then there's a lot that they'll ask about, like inputting your grade point average, your SAT scores, interests, extracurricular activities. That's all fine, but you don't have to do that. Colleges can go into Parchment if you give your approval, and they can search for interests, and if they find you are interested in music, maybe a music college can send you information and contact you. But you don't have to do that. Basically, Parchment, at a bare minimum, is going to be used to deliver your middle college, high school transcript to a college or university such as Northern Michigan or Western Michigan or Adrian College or something like that. Okay? Once you get your account set up, there will be a button right off the front that will be order transcripts. And again, I apologize, I can't demonstrate that because I can't log in as a student, but it's pretty clear. It'll say order transcript, and then you basically indicate, you search for the school you want it to go to, such as Michigan State or Wayne State or Alma College or whatever, and confirm that it's the right one, because sometimes schools have campuses in different areas. But if you want the main campus, just make sure you're in the right city. And then A few other steps. You have to confirm, that the order is what you want. Do you want the transcript to be delivered right away? In most cases, that is the case. That's what you want. Some students, if it's near the end of a semester, want us to wait until the fall grades are in. But in most cases, I would say send this one now. You can always send the one later in January when we have your fall grades. Okay? Once you place your order in Parchment, I know this is not very exciting looking at this, so I'm going to start going back to the presentation. But once you place your order in Parchment, then you can follow the order just as if you ordered something from Amazon.com. You go into your orders, and then it will see when we approve it and when the college downloads it. Okay? So the process is you submit the order. We get an email, 2 or 3 of us get the Parchment emails, and then we log into Parchment. We make sure that your latest transcript, your most up-to-date transcript, is uploaded into Parchment, and then we approve the delivery of it. And then it gets digitally delivered to the university or universities that you wanted it to go to, and then they download it. And you can see all what happens all along the way in terms of steps, okay? So that's parchment.com. Let us know if you have questions on that. There is one thing to tell you. I know it's really detailed, but they will, as you set it up, it'll ask what grade you're in. There is no grade 13, so just put grade 12, okay, on that. So that's a little detail students often ask about. Okay, so now you've requested your Blue Water Middle College high school transcript. Now they're going to want your college transcript, because as the applications go on for most schools, they're going to say, have you taken any college classes while in high school? And you are, of course, going to say yes, okay? Sometimes it's known as dual enrollment. There are some schools, as you'll see in a bit, Western Michigan and others, that actually ask, are you an early or middle college student? And that's awesome. So they're starting to recognize that and give you, basically, it gives you an up on students who haven't taken that many classes. But what they're going to want is your pure college transcript. And to do that, you need to request it from SC4. We cannot send your college transcript. You can do that from within your service center. I'm not going to take time to demonstrate it right now, but please ask if you're not sure how to do that. But in your service center, under the academics part, you'll see, I think it's called request transcript or send transcript, and it will get you to a site. You confirm that it's you. You will need your student number or social security number, and then you indicate where you want it to go. It does cost $5. We cannot waive that fee, so you're going to need a credit card or a debit card or something to pay the $5. And then it gets sent almost instantly to the college, and you can also track it once you order it. Okay, so that's that. You will need to send a final SC4 transcript to your new school, but I would wait until June of next year so all your college credits are on it, and then that will help them transfer in all the courses that you took at SC4. Okay? So other information when you apply, if you haven't been to the colleges you're applying to, try to get there. Some students do apply with never having been on the campus, but it's always a good idea to try to visit there, see if you still like it. Just because you're applying doesn't mean you're going there, but it may cost you some money. Don't hesitate to call the campus if you have questions. What should I put here or not? If you have an email address with an academic or admissions person, you can use that. But don't be afraid to pick up the phone. Just call the main number at the college and ask, you have a question about admissions or applying. Okay? If you get an email back or you talk to somebody on the phone, try to get their name, and if you can go back to that person, it's always a good idea. They get to know you, you build a relationship, and they're going to be more inclined to say, yeah, this person really wants to come here. Let's make sure that he or she gets accepted. Respond to their requests promptly. If they're asking about a transcript, don't just wait a week or two. And if you're not sure, contact one of us, and maybe we say forward the email. We'll see what they're looking for. Okay? Keep checking your email. Keep your contacts formal. Hi, Mr. Such and Such or Ms. If you get on a first name basis, that's fine. If they sign their name Bob, then you can use Hi Bob, but otherwise keep it Mr. or Mrs. Okay? Some programs, some applications, some schools rather require essays. If you fill out the Common App, the Common Application will require at least one essay. Some colleges require more than that. Any chance you get to talk about being a Blue Water Middle College student, I would use that. because you guys did something that most students don't do. You've taken 10 college classes by the end of 12th grade. Okay, and so that's really a feather in your cap. Even if you didn't get A's and B's in all the classes, you took on that challenge. And so you might want to talk about that and say, hey, I'm ready. I've had 10 college classes. I'll have another 8 or 10 before I get to your campus. I get how it works, and I'm ready to succeed there. Tell them why you want to attend that school. So make sure you research a little bit. If they have a business program and you want to get into it, mention the specific business program. Talk about maybe something you saw on their site that was interesting or cool. I like the way that students got to work with local businesses or went to study abroad or something. Okay, so if in that essay, really kind of personalize it. Have someone read your essay, even if it's just your sister, brother, or mom or dad, or send it to one of us. But we often don't catch mistakes that we make when we write it. Even if we read it ourselves 2 or 3 times, we somehow look over the same mistakes. So after you're accepted, then you start looking about how are we going to pay for all this. And that gets into financial aid. I'm not going to go into this at all right now. Remember, November 9th, we have our Paying for College session. The one thing I just want to let you know is that you apply to schools, they might accept you, but you don't have to make the final decision to attend until later in the spring. Okay? So between now and then, or even later, you want to find out from the college how are they going to help you pay to attend there? And that will be discussed at the session, but they will send you information based on your application and this thing called the FAFSA, which we'll talk about in November. And if you want to get the ball rolling now, see one of us before then. But they'll take that information and they'll say, okay, here's how much it costs to go here. Here are some ways you can pay for it. Grants, scholarships, student loans, etc. Okay? All right. So finally now I'm going to exit out of the presentation and go to Western Michigan University site and just show you a little bit about what an application looks like, and then that will wrap up this presentation. Okay, so I went to the Western Michigan University site, wmich.edu. Western is a great university in the city of Kalamazoo on the west side of the state. We have several students that attend Western, several of our graduates every year. So this is the main site. Like a lot of schools, it has big pictures on the front page. I'm going to go to the admissions page right here because I want to show you something before we get to the actual application. First of all, if you can see this, it allows you to take a virtual tour. Western or Kalamazoo is about 3 hours or a little more drive from Port Huron. So you might want to see what it looks like overall before you consider going there. So you can do the whole tour piece. I'm not going to do that right now with you. But if you scroll down, I want you to see that on their main admissions page, they actually have a link for information for early and middle college students. Okay, so if you're participating in an early or middle college, when you click on that, it has a lot of information specifically designed for students in early or middle colleges. So that's pretty cool. It will talk about how you apply, and in this case, as I mentioned quite a bit earlier, you apply as a freshman. It says Western right here applies the same freshman admission criteria to all students, although it says early middle college students who have completed college coursework at the time of application need to submit an official college transcript. It says the college supports completion of associate degree, but it's definitely not required for admission. So there's just a lot of information here. It talks about scholarships. You are eligible for their freshman scholarships, what transcripts you need, and it does say that the college transcripts need to be sent to Western and how they'll evaluate transfer credits and so on. So a lot of good information here. I just showed that to you because it's important for you to see that these universities understand that middle college students are out there and they value them because of the experience that you bring. So if I go now to the Apply Now section, I think this will get me there. I have already started, when I did these sessions, I created an account and started an application. So basically, I'm going to be logging in. You're not going to see me start it from scratch, but basically it involves choosing a username and password, submitting my email, and then the college sets up an account and gets back in touch with me. So I'm going to sign in and continue on my application. And this is a good way to tell you guys that you don't have to do this all in one sitting. It used to be when I was younger, we did paper applications, and you'd start doing pieces and you'd come back to it and it would sit on your desk. Now that they're online, in all cases, you'll set up an account and you can start it, look to see what's needed, do a little of it, come back to it, a day or two later. Okay? So you can see I started mine on Friday, August 24th. That was the date of the first success session. Now it does have a due date. It says June 2nd, 2019. So boy, I've got a lot of time, don't I? Get them in earlier. Number one, you find out whether or not you're accepted, and you also start getting that financial information back as early as March or April, if not sooner. Okay? Do you qualify for scholarships, grants, and things like that? All right? So it's saying I'm 44% complete, whatever that means. There are different sections to it, and I'm going to click on Finish Application. And what I want to show you when this comes up is over to the left side here, there's these little green lights, and some don't have lights on them. So there's certain things I've completed or are partially completed. But when I click on the first one, that was the first thing it asked about, was my academic plan. So if I click on that, there are some questions it asks, and it says, citizenship, and not all applications are exactly the same, but this is pretty similar. Domestic means that, I'm from the U.S. Look at the student type. It's very hard to see in gray, but it says freshman. Let me see if I can edit this. It should let me edit it, but it's not right now. Anyway, review your application. Let's see. But anyway, so it asks, I'm applying as a freshman. I want to start the fall of 2019, and I'm going to be on the main campus in Kalamazoo. In this case, I actually, again, using a sample, I said I want to be, my academic area of interest is advertising and promotion, and I can choose from a wide variety. If I know I want to go into biology, I simply choose that, okay, and continue. So it jumped over this next one, I believe, oh no, it didn't. Self-reported grade point and scores. So in this case, I actually, let's say I think I'm getting a 3.3. Now they're going to confirm this with your transcript. So don't make anything up that's not going to match your transcript. Your SAT score, if you know what that is, put it in. If you're not sure yet, you can leave it blank, okay? And then academic history, here's the high school, Blue Water Middle College Academy. In this case, I would start in August of, I think many of you, it was 2016. If you don't know the day, just put in 20th or something. They're not going to check the actual day. But you started, most of you, in 2016 at the middle college, okay? Did you or will you graduate from this school? Yes. All right. So I'm not going to go through all of these. They're going to be similar. Some of the things here are the courses that I've taken, and in this case, the college, freshman dual enrolled. In this case, I start out by writing SANT, and then it starts searching. With St. Clair County Community College, I never know if they want ST or St. Clair. Let's see what comes up. There it is, St. Clair County Community College. So I click on that. And when did we start and when will we end? And you can put a date in the future. It's okay. Even though, because if you're going to be graduating in May of 2019, put that. They know that, you still have to complete things. Okay. So these are the different pieces of information. It really doesn't take that long to complete. You can do it all in one sitting, but you don't have to. And then basically you submit it, and then you'll request your transcripts, and then just wait to hear from them. If they need anything new, they'll contact you. Okay. So that's just how easy it is, really, to complete an application. Let me see here. Go back to my see if it's my dashboard for the application. Yeah. So it's still on there. In some cases, they might have a message that you're missing something or whatever. Okay? So that's it. We're glad to help any of us. Contact us if you're unsure of what schools to go to or how to get the ball rolling. Okay? So now that you've viewed the video, make sure you complete the associated assignments. Ms. Weimer will mail those to you as part of the email that'll have a link to the video. And they will also, the assignments will also be listed on the web page that you go to view this video. Okay? Thank you. And you can just see it's easier doing it in person if you can, because this, I know it gets a little boring at times. I apologize.